Today on Twitter a guy who posted something, and it really struck me because this is something that I've talked about in the past. Anybody who's followed my work for any length of time, you know that I've discussed the competency crisis. I want to really focus in on this for just a second here, because he was talking about going and trying to do business, and he's like, everything is slowing down, everything is getting shittier, people are just checked out, nobody really cares about any of this stuff, and things are just overall getting a bit worse, like every day. Yes, this is called the competency crisis, but more than that, even the most competent people, right, are going to start checking out. And the reason they're going to start checking out is because your currency is breaking down. As your currency breaks down, your division of labor will break down. You understand? Let me say it again. As your currency breaks down, your division of labor will break down. When your division of labor breaks down, your society is basically fucked. Because the reason you have all of this bounty, right? I mean, in society, I'm talking to Americans. Actually, let me talk to the English-speaking world. The reason you have all of this luxurious shit is because of something called division of labor. When your division of labor breaks down, that's it. It's game over, dude. Okay, you know, like stick a fork in it, right? So this problem is because of your currencies. They are all breaking down. And they're breaking down because they've been turned into Ponzi schemes, not accurate units of measurement. Accurate units of monetary measurement don't change. They don't constantly keep changing around. But when you keep changing them, then you've created a problem where you have the most necessary people, right? You know, the people who do all of those necessary jobs, right? Those people start feeling unappreciated, underappreciated, or just flat out fucking hated by society. Ask anybody who's worked in retail for any length of time, for any number of years, and they'll tell you something very similar to that, where how they're treated by everybody, the way they're treated by, you know, by customers. These are necessary jobs. All of these things are necessary, along with several other jobs that are out there, whether it's sewage treatment, plumbing, electrical, roofing, it doesn't matter. These are actual necessary jobs. And when you pay those people the least amount of money, for whatever reason, society has decided, and that's a distortion, by the way, I'll come back to it, to pay them the least amount of money and give them the least amount of respect, truck drivers included, what happens is those people start saying, you know what, fuck it. If I'm going to be hated and mistreated, why should I care about society? Why should I give a shit about any of this? Yeah. Just like a bunch of young people who are saying, like, why should I care what happens to people who own property? Who gives a shit? I don't own property, so it doesn't affect me. Yeah, see, this is the problem. This is where this kind of goes. So this whole thing deteriorates. And this distortion is caused by, for whatever, you know, we have this idea that it's okay for the guy sitting by a pool doing Zoom meetings to demand $10 million a year, right, that he shouldn't be earning. But the people that are making sure that you don't unalive from cholera, you know, I'm not talking about doctors either. I'm talking about, like, you know, sewage treatment guys, okay? You don't unalive from fucking dysentery and shit like that, okay? Those guys are paid, you know, they're told they're going to be paid the least. The people who do the most and are the most necessary, we have it in their mind that they're going to be paid the least amount of money and given the least amount of respect. Bullshit. And fuck you if you think like that, because that's not how that works. In an honest unit of measurement economy, in other words, a currency that isn't fucked with and doesn't change, the people who do the most work and the most necessary work will be the ones who actually make the most money. That is exactly how that works, okay? Because the worthless people, right, or the people who are, I don't want to say incompetent, but the people who feel they are too good to do any of those very necessary jobs, right, those people all seem to think that they deserve more. But if they have to pay for it in hard currency and it can't be changed or counterfeited out of nothing, well, then they either have to do the work themselves or go back to being the thieves and beggars they've always been. Okay, that's the truth. And for those of you out there on the automation thing, no, we're going to have robots. You guys have watched way too fucking much Star Wars. You have got to stop that. I don't understand you guys out there who read science fiction or watch science fiction and don't understand that the more philosophical underpinnings of what Philip K. Dick, you know, was talking about. What does it mean to be human? And, you know, do androids dream of electric sheep? You know it as Blade Runner. Okay, that's not meant to be taken literally. Okay, that's an allegory. That's a story that's being told there to get you to think of what does it mean to actually be human. Okay, Douglas Adams is particularly good at this kind of thing. So I don't understand you guys when you guys get fascinated by these sci-fi things and think, oh look, we're going to have droids and shit. You realize those are people in those suits. Even the droids in the movies aren't fucking droids in real life. Okay, they can't automate that shit. Right? Because most of this stuff is not automatable. You have to involve people. I will assure you, you don't want a machine cooking your food for you. Well, you have to go fucking watch Futurama for you sci-fi buffs, you know, and explain that shit right there. No, this idea of, no, you're going to need people. And you're going to need people to do all those necessary jobs. You are not going to islandify yourself and say, no, look, I can just do everything automated. That's not how that works, because there's also something called entropy. Things fall apart over time, and you're going to need somebody to fix that shit.